All right, let's jump right into this suspenseful explainer. Today, we're tracing the thrilling, highly botanical diary of Clara Wells across 5 gripping case files. We are exploring the brilliantly crafted world of Iris Fielding's Seaside Bluffs mysteries. And let me tell you, this isn't your average whodunit. It's a beautifully layered thriller where every single leaf is a witness and every root holds a clue. We're going to break down the escalating conflicts, the buried secrets, and the incredibly unique perspective of a protagonist who quite literally reads crime scenes through the soil.
Imagine walking through your own town, but you literally cannot recognize your own brother's face if he just happens to change his jacket. Well, our protagonist, Clara, lives in this exact reality. While most of us navigate our day by reading street names or, recognizing the faces of our neighbors, Clara navigates by looking at the mildew on the roses or how the pH levels are shifting the color of a hydrangea. She relies entirely on the distress signals of plants just to survive and make sense of the world around her.
So this condition is known as prosopagnosia, or face blindness. But what's truly fascinating here, and what makes this story an absolute game changer, is how Clara turns this terrifying neurological condition into a brilliant forensic superpower. Because her brain just can't stitch together facial features, she's developed an absolute razor-sharp botanical recall. She remembers gaits, voices, and most importantly, scents and soil compositions. It's such a fascinating lens for a mystery thriller because Clara doesn't look at suspects, she looks at the pollen on their clothes.
Now, before we open up these dark case files and really dig into the dirt, I want to mention that this entire botanical journey is captured in the 5-book Seaside Bluffs Mysteries bundle. You can actually grab the complete collection on Amazon for less than buying them individually, plus there's a free 3-part miniseries included. The link for that is right down in the description.
Okay, moving right into Case File 1, Escaping the HOA Tyrant.
So, the diary kicks off in Book 1, The Scent of Artemisia, detailing a brewing feud with Victoria Bloom. And Victoria is the tyrannical HOA president of Seaside Bluffs, whose obsession with control is just off the charts. The timeline escalates so quickly. Clara gets cited for having an unapproved mulch color, cocoa bean fantasy. Yeah, you heard that right. Then, Victoria actually threatens Clara's brother Leo, trying to foreclose on his equipment yard over a native grass buffer zone. But things take a massive turn when Clara is invited into Victoria's legendary greenhouse to illustrate a rare blooming orchid, and shortly after, Victoria is found dead, tangled in a clematis trellis.
You see, there's this stark, almost chilling contrast in Seaside Bluffs. On the surface, you have these vibrant, manicured gardens. The town is totally obsessed with this pristine, coastal neutral aesthetic. But beneath those award-winning orchids, rotting roots, international smuggling rings, and, in the case of Victoria's murder, the incredibly bitter, sharp, camphor-like scent of crushed Artemisia leaves. The town's beautiful facade is exactly what allows the rot to just hide in plain sight.
And here is where it gets incredibly tense. The climax of Book 1 hinges on a devastating realization. Clara figures out that her own brother Leo manipulated her unique mind. He had asked her to describe the layout of Victoria's greenhouse. The unlatched windows, the muffled time beds, the motion sensors hidden by wisteria. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't just manipulation. He weaponized her superpower to navigate the blind spots of the crime scene. He used her botanical maps to commit the murder, framing her in the process. It's just an absolutely crushing betrayal.
Next up, Case Files 2 and 3, The Spreading Rot. As Clara's diary continues into the roots of hemlock, she's trying to heal from her brother's betrayal, but the gardens are unearthing even deadlier secrets. A beloved herbalist is found dead, and the authorities quickly blame a young woman because of an unlocked hemlock cage nearby. But Clara, she reads the disturbed 40-year-old soil layers of the apothecary garden. She realizes the scene was staged. The killer didn't use hemlock, they used monkshood, a plant with this earthy sweet root that mimics the deadly effects but shifts the blame. Clara literally proves a woman's innocence by reading the chronology of charcoal and compost layers in the soil. How wild is that?
Then, the diary darkens significantly in Book 3, The Bloom of Deceit. The summer garden gala returns to the town, but when a rare, borrowed black orchid is stolen, a dead body is left in its wake. This completely drags Clara into a super dangerous, shadowy world of high society plant smugglers and obsessive collectors. She literally has to map pollen transfers from jasmine and oleander just to figure out who was standing where during the crime.
Now, if you are as hooked on these botanical clues as I am, you absolutely need to check out the 5-book bundle and that free miniseries linked below. Because trust me, Clara's diary gets even darker from here, as the investigations push her to the absolute edge.
This brings us to Case Files 4 and 5, Toxic Ecosystems.
As we reach the climax of the series, the ecosystems become wilder, the stakes get incredibly personal, and the buried secrets are much, much older. We jump from the wild, salt-sprayed tide pools of the Salt in the Soil, where Clara actually has to publicly defend the very brother who betrayed her after a developer is found dead, to the suffocating sealed history of the Last Garden. Book 5 shifts the landscape entirely to Seaside Bluffs' oldest sealed garden, a heritage site locked away for a century.
And this leads to a chilling culmination. Clara's final diary entry forces her to unearth a 100-year-old skeleton hidden beneath the bed of pristine peonies. Because she navigates by reading the roots instead of looking for bloodstains, she realizes that the soil layers act like a permanent date stamp. To put that into perspective, she has to read a garden planted generations ago to solve a century of silence, tying back to the Bloom family legacy, and finally make peace with her own past. It is an absolutely powerful, suspenseful narrative arc.
Finally, let's look at the Botanical Suspect Guide.
Let's dive into this essential methodology. Based on Clara's entire journey, we've extracted a step-by-step guide synthesizing all 5 books to track killers using botanical traits. Step 1. Pollen transfers on jackets can place a suspect at the exact location of a rare flower. Step 2. Reading soil layers, like charcoal, sand, and compost, reveals exactly when a grave was dug or a toxic plant was harvested. And Step 3. Scent trails. The bitter smell of Artemisia clinging to a killer's hands is a signature you simply cannot wash away. Every crushed leaf is a witness waiting to be interviewed.
Clara's entire journey leaves us with such a chilling thought. If every garden is a self-portrait of the gardener, how well do you truly know the people and the gardens right next door? What kind of decaying secrets are they burying beneath their perfect crisp-edged flagstone walkways?
You can uncover all of Clara's secrets by grabbing the complete 5-book bundle and the free miniseries linked in the description below. But before you step outside today, maybe take a closer look at the pristine lawns in your own neighborhood, because you never know what history is quietly growing right beneath your feet. Keep your eyes on the soil, and thanks for joining me for this explainer.